You know, you had this rapper. Her name is Sexy Red. She came back and gave back to the school, and she caught a little flack about it. What, in your opinion, would you let her come to your school and give back to the students?
How did she give back? What exactly did she do?
Well, what she did was she gave bundles to the girls, and I believe she bought the boys shoes and outfits and things like that. So, upkeep things in the schools.
I mean, if that was the best way, that may have been the best way she felt she could give back. I would have preferred more, maybe she buy some books, some black books, some conscious books, get them some books, maybe some computer programs that focus on academics. Our children are already brainwashed into materialism. We don't need to keep furthering that. But I'm not knocking the sister. She did what she understood based on her level of consciousness. That's what she felt would be best. So I'm not knocking her.
I think she caught flack because of the subject matter and the content of her music.
Well, she should have caught flack, because we got to be a little bit more responsible. I'm very disappointed in our female artists constantly projecting the sexual exploitation of the black female body. I think black women are being sold out by our black female artists. Black women suffer more than any other woman from sexual objectification and abuse. So when you constantly see black artists feeling like the only way they can sell their music is through sex, you are pushing a historical stereotype that has been used to justify the sexual exploitation and abuse of black women. And I don't think black women do enough to hold black women accountable enough, their artists, for constantly pushing this racist, stereotypical, sexually subjective brand of music and art. There's much more to the black woman than her body, but our artists refuse to show us anything other than that. And I think it's a travesty.
So, I mean, that's very true. But how do we find a common ground with this without having judgments? Because, we need as much black dollars as we can as far as them giving and being charitable. How do we find?
Well, first of all, let us be honest. Most black celebrities are not charitable to the black community in a meaningful way.
Exactly.
So let us be clear. I don't know of a single relevant institution that any black celebrity or group of black celebrities have built. If you know of something, please let me know. I'm not aware of them coming together to build an independent black bank completely owned by black people, not underwritten by
I agree.
Okay, they haven't built no hospitals, no supermarkets, no schools, no jobs, no distribution. So I'm going to have to disagree with the premise that black celebrities are charitable to the black community. No, they are not. In fact, you can make an argument that they give more money to non-African sources than to African sources. So if some of that money was coming back to us, maybe we could tolerate some of that nonsense for a little while. But for me and where I am, in my thinking and in my political development, I'm not really interested in negotiating with degeneracy. I'm not interested in negotiating with I'm not negotiating with the snow bunny crisis. I'm not negotiating with childhood transgenderism. I'm not negotiating with black artists who push racially stereotypical images of their own people for profit. I'm not negotiating because we've already been negotiating, and we've gotten the short end of the stick every time. You understand? I'm not negotiating with it. There's either right or there's wrong. It's either dark or it's light. It's either wet or it's dry. There is no middle ground. What you're doing is either contributing to the advancement of African people or the destruction of African people. There's no middle ground.
No doubt. And I think it's all about having the best political footing as possible as far as for our people. Power, that's the key. I know the great Marcus Garvey, man, and he was always a political strategist. He met with white supremacists, man. What is your thoughts on that? And would you ever meet with white supremacists as far as for political means? I'm not for personal means, but would you ever do that?
Absolutely. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey met with the white power structure. And that white power structure that he met with was the Ku Klux Klan. And part of the basis and premise for that meeting was due to the fact that there was a war going on between Marcus Garvey's Universal African Legionnaires, the military of the Garvey movement, and the Ku Klux Klan. They were killing each other. KKK was killing black folks, and black folks was killing KKK. So what you had was the leaders of the two most influential race-based organizations in the country coming together for a ceasefire. It's no different than Joe Biden meeting with the Prime Minister of China. It's no different than him meeting with Putin in Russia. Do they like each other? Hell no. But in order to prevent bloodshed, to slow down the bloodshed, to reduce conflict as much as possible, let's have a sit down and come to some terms so your people don't have to be worried about mine and my people don't have to be worried about yours. The reason why some black people would criticize Mr. Garvey's meeting with the Klan is they don't understand the behavior of nations. They don't understand political science. They don't understand military strategy. Garvey was the head of the largest black organization on the planet Earth. And at the time, the Ku Klux Klan was the most influential, well-known white organization in America, and terrorist organization at that. So the meeting was necessary so that two opposing armies could come to terms before there was any further bloodshed. It's no different than when George Washington sat down with the commander of the British Army right before the American Revolution. Is there a way that we can piece this thing out before any more people die? That's all it was. Two military leaders having a conversation as to whether or not a ceasefire would be possible.
Certainly. And the crazy thing is, I don't think blacks will get it now as they didn't get it then as well, too, for real.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't as well.
We don't think as a nation. We don't think as a people. If you do not think as a nation, you will never understand the behavior of the most honorable Marcus Garvey. If you do not think as a government, see, Garvey was different from every other leader. They all brought you churches and religions, all of them, and they took you away from Africa. Nearly every group that came after Garvey was anti-African, and it was nothing but religion. Garvey built a government for African people. The UNIA was a government in exile. He built a government, and as the leader of that government, the democratically elected provisional president of that government, he had an obligation to meet face to face with an organization that most believed at that time was the one that most threatened the livelihood of African people.
Certainly. Well, I want to talk about economics now. Farrakhan, he recently said, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, he recently just said that every race comes to America and they get the American dream off the blacks of black people. Can you elaborate on this? And
it's true, but it's partly our fault because the black dollar is colorblind. The black dollar is the easiest dollar to get in the United States of America. It's the easiest dollar to get. It is hard to get that Jewish dollar. That Jewish dollar is loyal to the Jew. That Arab dollar is loyal to the Arab. That Italian dollar is loyal to the Italian. Black dollar is not loyal to black people. Think about that now. Your number one weapon, your money, is not loyal to you. The black dollar seeks out anybody who will want it. And until we discipline the black dollar, we will never have black power. Black power is a joke and it is a fantasy because in order to build black power, you got to have an organized black dollar. And black people are not there. We are ready to march. We are ready to vote. We are ready to pray. We are not ready to organize, and we are not ready to mobilize our money, and we are not ready to build institutions. Those are the three conversations we never talk about. Scroll through your black YouTube. Scroll through your black Twitter. How many people do you see having a serious conversation about organizing black people, weaponizing the black dollar, and building institutions? Everything we talk about should be about those three things. Most black people are talking about something else. They want to talk about history, religion, some entertainment, sports. We are an escapist people because we are an irresponsible people. People who do not want responsibility for solving their problems will always find an excuse to do something else. Right? Church is an excuse. Masjid is an excuse. Go smoke some weed, drink some alcohol, chase some women, go to the club, throw a party, go to the cookout. All of these are distractions from the revolutionary struggle. In fact, I would argue that religion, all Black religion, excluding African spirituality, but Black religion has done more to keep Black people away from the liberation struggle than anything else in this country.
Definitely.
Keep you tied up in church and tied up at the mosque, so you never get into the community and get no real work done.
Certainly. So how can we achieve social economic independence? How can we achieve this?
Discipline first. Without discipline, you get nothing. Black people have to have the desire to build power. We don't even have the desire to build power. Okay? Everyone else wants power. All we want to do is purchase. We want purchases. That's what we do. What do you see every rapper bragging about on YouTube? Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at my jewelry. Look at my clothes. Don't own nothing. Don't own anything. And if you do own something, it's the subsidiary of something owned by white folks, so you don't really own that either. You see, they've done a good job convincing Black people that freedom equals the ability to buy stuff from white people. That's Black people's definition of freedom and equality. Freedom, justice, and equality for the politically uneducated Negropean is the ability to take my hard-earned money to a non-white person and buy some useless junk that makes me feel like I'm more important than other Black people.
So what are some of the answers, man? How can we work together?
The answer is not a secret. You have to do what every other group has done. Organize, institutionalize, and weaponize your money. Organize, institutionalize, and weaponize your money. That's the solution. That's what the Chinese did. That's what the whites did. It's not a secret on how you build up a strong, independent people. It is not a secret. We've done it before. We don't have the psychological interest or commitment into doing it. Black people are comfortable being on the bottom, my brother. Black people are comfortable being on the bottom. We are okay with the police killing a Black person every day. That is our Black tax, and we are willing to pay it. So what? They killed another unarmed, defenseless Black person. If that's the tax I gotta pay to call myself an American, I will pay it. Internalized racism, internalized oppression, internalized self-hate. The Negro of today is the worst Negro America has ever seen, because we're the first Negroes who are willing to die without fighting back.
So do you think some of these Black billionaires are afraid to give substantial help? I'm talking about substantial, because you always speak about help that is meaningful, non-symbolic, substantial. We talk about, economic empowerment. Are they afraid to do so?
Yes, they are afraid. Most of them got rich through the power structure. Even though it was their hard work, they did it because white folks let them into their system. You understand me? LeBron James is a phenomenal story. Phenomenal story. To go into the league straight from high school, Black wife, Black children, and never get into any scandals or trouble.
Yeah.
I tip my hat off to LeBron. He worked hard to get where he at, but guess what? He did it through the NBA. That's a white institution. And because he made his money through them, he's not going to betray them. Jay-Z's story, to go from drug dealer to billionaire, from Marcy Projects to the richest rapper in history. Phenomenal. But you did it through the white man's music industry. Oprah Winfrey, phenomenal, but you did it through the white man's media system. You see that?
Yeah.
So they're not going to bite the hand that fed them. No way, shape, form, or fashion. And I want to say this in defense of the Black billionaires, in respect to Jay-Z and LeBron and Oprah and Tyler Perry and Sean Combs and Rihanna and Kanye, respect to all of them. But let us be honest for a minute. Why are we giving them more responsibility than the rest of us? If you take the $2 trillion that Black America has collectively That's more money than all our billionaires put together. The people have more money than the billionaires. So why do we keep bringing up the billionaires when the people have more money? It's because the people are always looking for somebody else to solve their problems for them. And I'm tired of it. Every time we have a meeting, a conversation, Negroes want to talk about who can we find to fix our problems for us. Nobody's fixing your problems for you. In church, we want Jesus to fix the problems. Voting box, we want the president to fix the problems. We always looking for somebody other than ourselves to do this work, even though we have the money, the intelligence, and the skill. Black people will get exterminated if we don't wake up and smell the coffee that we're drinking right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I completely